Same. I love seeing your face. If you want to turn your camera off, you're all allowed. I have something interesting for us today, which is going to set you up for success in your future. Yay. Okay. And you've seen a preview of this before. So this is your optimization checklist and literally what you do. So I am going to go through as much as we can of this checklist, and I'm going to read out what we're doing, and then I'm going to go do it. And I figure because optimizing Google Ads is a lot. And just like with SEO keyword research, you can really fall into the weeds. You can spend hours and hours and hours inside a Google Ads account. You can also have things running really smoothly, and a lot of business owners complain that they will see that their Google Ads person is not doing anything, because there is a place where you can actually see what they're doing, which I will show you today. And this is just for you to know. If you don't want to tell an owner of a business or anything like that, you don't have to, but there are different ways to manage accounts. Some agencies actually own the Google Ads account, and then they pay the business everything, and you don't see the cost per click, right? You don't see any of so there's many ways to organize account. We here, because we try to have a philosophy of 100% transparency, and because clients will come to us with Google Ads accounts, we'll just add ourselves into their account. It does do us a disservice once in a while. Somebody can just be like, I hired a new agency and kick us out. We've had it happen to us before. It was sad, but at least we play by our rules, which we like to think keep us in integrity. So this Google Sheet, now it's broken down into like what you do every couple days, what you do weekly, what you do monthly, what you would do quarterly, right? And as you can see, there's quite a bit. But so we're going to just go through this slowly, because this is what I do when I log into a Google Ads account. So what you want to check for some accounts are if you're doing manual bidding, or if there's any warnings on keywords, right? So you would go into your Google Ads account. We'll pick an account, and I'm going to jump around between some of my accounts to show you some things. But the first one we're going to do is open Google, open. And magically refresh. Balin's laughing. He's like, you're just too trigger happy. I did get this list from another Google Ads person, but I updated the bejeezers out of it because every Google Ads person does things a little differently, right? I know Phelan, when he goes to optimize, one of the first places he checks is not one of the first places I check. Oh, Phelan. Class might be canceled, guys. Oh, nope. Yay, we're all winning. Okay. So as I said, we have an MCC account. So we have a number of accounts. We do get permission from all our clients when they sign contracts that we can share information in our courses. This is in order to teach you and to do everything above board. Now, the first thing, if you look at this list, the first thing says keyword statuses. Do any of the keywords have a below page bid estimate warning? What that means is if you're on manual, I keep having to move you guys. If you're on manual bidding, you're going to want to check this. The first place I would go is, now we're talking about search campaigns. Go to search campaigns. You could do all campaigns too, and then I would go over to keywords. And we're looking at our report, and we're just going to click on status. We want to see if anything is below first page bid. And do I want to increase the bid on this, right? So that's the first thing I would do for most of my accounts. I want to go and see, hey, HVAC cleaning cut. This is a keyword I would want updates. So I can see that the first page bid is 736. I could do this, right? And that can update it. And if I don't want to spend my time going through, because lots of accounts will have, if they're on manual bidding, they'll have lots of things, right? To update. So I would click on all of these. I can select all of them, and then I would, okay. So I click on all of these, right? And then this blue box shows up. And then inside the blue box, there's a bunch of options. So I have edits, and I'm going to change max cost per click bids. And then if I try to raise to the top of first page, often doesn't work. So I raise the bids to the first page of Google. Now, if I do this, instead of doing it manually one by one, I am going to make sure to check the highest cost per click that I've said I'm willing to pay. So it's now updated all the keywords, right, into the lot. And you can see there's some, this is a competitive industry. So I'm just going to click on this, and that's going to change, right, my view. And so the highest cost per click is $37. Would I be okay with this? This client, each job is probably about 200 to 500. So if I get this, so yes, I would be fine with that. I probably wouldn't want to spend any more than that. But the client wants all the jobs. That's what they want more than anything. So that is how we would do the first thing here. And you do this if you have an account every 72 hours, 3 times a week. You go in there, you check how much you're bidding. And are you okay with those bids? Do you need to update those bids? Now, that's if you're doing manual bidding. If you're doing anything else, you wouldn't need to do this. So then the other thing you're going to want to check is what's converting with campaigns. Like, so we go into the Google Ads, and we're going to go click on all campaigns in the furthest menu, column menu. And then we would go in the second column menu to campaigns. And we would see here, we can see lots of information here: budget, status, campaign type, cost, conversions, right? And we're looking at conversions. So it's interesting because you can see the conversion rate, and then there's phone calls. We could get rid of columns if we want. We can modify them, change them. I've shown you this before. We can actually pick a column, say, and then it'll show up in this side, and we would move it up and down to see where we want to see it in the menu. Now we want to see conversions and cost. We don't really care about campaign type. So I could actually save this as a column set, checking conversions, cost, right? So this is what I mean by going in and playing around with what you're seeing, right? We want to see, I usually like to see clicks, conversions, click-through rates. So change this, and you will always see that I organize it always impressions, clicks, click-through rate, right? And we don't care about it. I could get rid of all these things actually. Oh, Phelan would want to see top impression share, but bid type. Okay, let's save and apply. So now what I'm looking for is, hey, I'm spending $28 a day. Looks like this one, $40 a day, limited by budget. It got me 6 conversions, but this one at $60 got me 10, but this one at 65 got me 6. So I've spent more with this one. It's got me no phone calls and 6 conversions. So I might look at that. Now, our naming conventions, that says it's Nanaimo and it's phrase and exact, and where it says max clicks. So that's the bidding type. So I'm going to go look now and see if I'm actually, that's the bidding, right? So I'm going to click into this campaign, and this is how you can go down a rabbit hole, because you're like, okay, I saw something that doesn't make sense. I want to go look. But let's go look. Okay. So it took us right to the campaign, and then we're going over to settings, because that's where our bidding strategy happens in our campaigns. And it says bidding, enhanced CPC, and it's saying manual. So that campaign needs to be updated. So it was search campaigns. We know it was the Nanaimo. So we go over here, we go to campaigns, and right here, And we're just going to change this. This means it was not saved. So now, as I take note, I might want to write some things down. Okay, what is converting, right? Or what's converting well? So again, we're in search campaigns, which is where you're gonna spend your time. And where's today conversion goals? You can see them. And what you're looking for is the conversion rate, the cost, like what's costing me the most, what's costing me the least. And then if, say, your business, you want to compare, you're like, what got me more conversions last month? Right. And so now I've turned on a comparison and we're looking at all campaigns. We're just double clicking on them and we are going to look at the difference. Let's go find those conversions, phone calls. So we can look at the phone calls and budget says campaign type. Where are my conversions? Okay, if somebody's, we want cost per conversion. Conversion goals. They have all of these new phrasing too, which kills me a little bit. So there's constantly changing. So if you are looking at this as a profession, the best way to learn this is to start to get your hands in it and work on it, right? Because you're not going to know the flow of things unless you do them. Okay, we got conversions up there. It's right here. So it looks like this campaign, which is all RSA, responsive search ads, right? I'm doing exact phrase and broad in the same campaign. It's manual, which is the same as manual CPC. And it's just search, right? And we know that it's just search because it's got just the little eye magnifying glass. If it had other little symbols, which I'll show you here, I'll show you in a minute, but I want you to see. So this is where you're going to quickly look. You're like, okay, this campaign's up 50%. This campaign's down, right? This campaign looks like it's up 100% and this campaign is up 200%. And you could go in and then you can see what was the cost? Like, are the costs up? Look, the costs are up. So it's up 50% of conversions, but the cost is up 84%, right? So as you get into this, you might want to know numbers, but you just want to look at this to get used to these things, to be like, oh, why isn't this campaign getting me phone calls anymore? Or why did this one get me a bunch of phone calls and then it's not? The comparison is a pretty interesting thing to dive into. It can feel a little overwhelming because there's lots of columns and things like that. So that is number 2. Check what's converting. You could do all campaigns and we can see, are they doing any, they're doing a video campaign. It's probably not converting, but yeah, video doesn't really convert, but it's on a very low budget. And then this one, 277. I want to look at that. Okay. So the next thing we would do, so that's what you do every 72 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you review what's going on. You could actually maybe check like what's converting weekly or see. And when you can go deeper, and we'll go deeper when we do keywords, right? So the next and the place you're probably going to spend the most of your time as a Google Ads person is in the search term report at the ad group level. So let's go there. Search term report, ad group level. So we're going into individual campaigns now. So you don't, if you want, you can show all enabled, all, remember, and you can just show search campaigns and go into one search campaign. And now it's the search term report. So where we find the search term report is we're in a campaign. We go over to keywords. There's a little arrow down, correct. And that opens up a window of a bunch of options, right? So our search keywords are the keywords we choose to bid on. And then what happens is we get a search term report. And a little while ago, Google took this away because this is literally where you spend a lot of time, because each ad group has its own list, right? Because it's generating its own keywords. So you can actually change your columns in your search term report. Hold on, let me do this. It's fun. You can actually change the columns and you can add in the keyword. So you can see I am bidding on dryer vent cleaning, and it is a phrase match. So words can come before and after. And what that is getting is the search term that somebody typed into Google was dryer vent cleaning, right? So it's an exact match, but then dryer vent cleaning blower, right? I don't want to, when I think about this client, I know that they don't want to talk about blowers. Somebody who's typing a blower is maybe looking to buy one, or that's not going to work for his server. So what I would do, I got to think about this keyword and be like, do I never want him to show up for this keyword at all ever? And if that's the case, I always click on the box and I can add as a keyword, which I don't usually use because I will save my keywords to add to specific ad groups. So when you do broad match or phrase match or even exact match now, you will see a search term report and you're going to see keywords in there that you want and that you don't want. And so you go through this list all the time and you're like, okay, dryer vent cleaning blower, I'm going to add as a negative. And then I want to add it to my negative keyword list, right? My general negatives. And notice how it's exact match. It wasn't exact match here. Remember how I said Google's always trying to steal your money? That's one of the little tiny things they do. And so I don't want this blower to show up anywhere, and exact match is fine. So I'm adding it to the negative keyword list, and then it does that. And if I wanted to see my negative keyword list, I go into tools and settings, and then I go to shared library, and then I go to negative keyword list. And that is where I would find my negative keywords, and I think it'll be added to the bottom. And yep. And you can see that the campaigns that my negative keyword list is attached to are all of these. But let us go back. So I open each. Now it's easier because you can see there's lots of keywords, right? Lots of search terms to go through. So usually I'll go through them at the ad group level. And I literally dryer vent cleaning brush, another one. Probably don't want to show up, but negative list, right? And save. And you literally, this is what you do. Dryer vent cleaning Lowe's. I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm not going to add it or negative it out because I don't know what I want to do there. I might want to create a competitor campaign or a competitor ad group and put all my competitors in one ad group and bid on them. I always ask the client if they want to bid on their competitors, if they want to bid on their own name. If you bid on your competitors, they'll probably bid on you. If you don't bid on your competitors, they might bid on you. But so many people do it. How much for dryer vent cleaning? Well, that's definitely a keyword I want to keep, right? How much for dryer vent cleaning? Now I notice this is for commercial. So the keyword's commercial. The area we're targeting is Victoria, and it's the duct cleaning, right? And so this might not be the ad group I want to add this to, so I would copy it. But if I was going to add it, say, so I'm going to click off that. If I was going to add it, this box shows up again and say add as a keyword, and you'll notice Google will say it's broad match. First of all, they've actually slightly changed how this looks, right? So you can't pick the campaign or the ad group you're going to add it to. You can pick your maximum cost per click, and you can change the final URL. You can actually do landing pages to keywords versus landing pages to ad groups or campaigns. But you can target your whole campaign to a landing page, your ad group to a landing page, your keyword to a landing page, depending on how you want to organize what you do. We generally do campaign level. Sometimes we'll go a little deeper and do ad group level. But so if I was going to add this, I just click save, and then it would have this check mark here, and it would be saved into the account, but as broad match. So you'll notice negative keywords get saved as exact match unless you change them. And when you try to add a keyword to your campaigns, they're broad match. And as we generally fixate on what we're doing. So each ad group would have its own match type. So we would be specific and copy and paste them into the ad group. And you literally go through this report all the time. I'll show you an example of one that it happens all the time. So this is Whistle. They are an Uber type service, and Whistler. I inherited the account. I've updated it so that I've updated it so it's better in its organization, but I didn't want to, you never just want to end something that's working, right? But I needed to make some huge adjustments. So we can see I'm in search campaigns, I'm in keywords, search terms, right? Those are the ones I bid on. And this is where it's confusing. Search keywords are the ones I choose and I bid on. Search terms are the terms that show up because I've bid on a search keyword, right? And there's your negative keyword list, right? So you can actually see this is for all campaigns. This is so you can have a negative keyword list at the ad group level, at the campaign level, and at the account level. So your negative keyword list is at the account level generally, and you can pick the campaigns that are a part of it. So if you look here at their keywords, when we go through them, search terms, we go through them. I don't get rid of lots, but as you go down, there's I just went through those. So where are all my, okay, well, I was going to show you, but I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, okay, there's some added ones, 17, and so this account is quite funny. And so you sometimes won't have any search terms, but Google decided to do a 60%. Okay. Where's my hundreds of keywords? Then you can broaden them. And I do go through them all. I won't add some like taxi services if I don't know if they're up there, because they could be competitors. But you go through this list all the time. You add, delete. Now, you'll probably already have some of these keywords. And if you want to be specific and be like, I want only keywords that say taxi in this ad group. So anything that says rideshare or Lyft or cab, I'm going to negative out, right? And I don't know why it's not showing all my work. It's going to really bother me. Maybe I can find, no, you can do filters here too, right? We want to look for a keyword. So keyword text, and let's go contains water. So there's water taxis in Tofino, and it's not showing any because I've blanked them all out, but that's how you would do a search. So you spend a lot of time in here. How much is a taxi near me? I might add that one. Tofino transportation, I might delete that one. Or negative it out. Howard taxi, I don't know them. Whistler, they're Tofino. Definitely don't want to show up for Whistler, right? We don't want to show up for taxi from Tsawwassen, right? So negative. And then negative. Just make sure it's at the ad group level. Now we're going to do it at the campaign level because we definitely don't want to show up. And keyword negatives from campaign, right? And then save. And that's what you spend a lot of time doing in Google Ads, because the ad concept is you create a campaign, you generate a bunch of keywords. You go in, you delete, you add, you delete, you add, until you find everything that works really well. Then you play with a lot of other things. So that's why this whole list. So as you can see, we've already spent about half an hour, and this is where we've gotten. So you should plan to spend a minimum of an hour a week if you're doing Google Ads, because what I do is I will go in, do little things that I see, and then I will take notes, because I'll want to do bigger things like start changing ads or create a new ad group with a new bunch of keywords that I've been saving that I see. So you check the search term report at the ad group level, and then you add extra negatives to stop unrelated or unwanted searches. So we just did those two things. Then weekly, you're going to go and do a keyword review. So identify keywords that are converting. How would we do that? We would go over to our campaign. All campaigns, we're dealing with keywords, so that generally means search campaigns, right? We are going back up to the search keyword, and we're going to look and see if we have, okay, we have conversions here. So we can see that 611 conversions in the last 27 days. And conversions. And 130 of them for the word taxi whistler. The quality score is 8 out of 10. Remember, we talked about quality score. I don't base that much on quality score, but I like it. It's when it's good. So they have quite a good quality score. Quality score is the combination of the keyword with the ad group, with the landing page, with the ad text. So this one's converting. The average cost per click is $3.10. It's cost me $7.66. And I have an 18% click-through rate. So I'm super happy about that. Now, cost per conversion. I have cost, no. Yeah, cost per conversion. We're looking at $6.78. So that's pretty good. This one down here, Cab Whistler, I might want to look at that and be like, is $10 too much? So this is where you start to narrow down, like, oh, what is converting? Should I tell the client what we found? Like maybe Phelan and I work on a tree service business, and we had a converting keyword for the word tree stuff. And we thought that was funny. So we end up telling clients funny things. The other great thing about your search term report, the sexy thing, if I might say, about your search term report, is you can find keywords that you can tell your client, hey, maybe you should write a blog post about this, right? So I'm just going to show you an account. These guys do automations with Google Sheets and Excel sheets. And when we went into their keyword search term report, we saw like tons and tons of keywords that we were like, you should really be. So this is a better one to show you, like excluding things, right? I exclude a lot. But you can end up seeing like different things that maybe he could talk to people about. He could write a blog post about programming in Excel sheets, or you could see like crazy questions that come up. Excel error list, like how do you deal with an Excel error list? So we did Google Ads for this guy, and we saw so much stuff in his account that was related to learning the subject that we were like, hey, have you ever thought about doing videos and teaching this? Because that would be an add-on. And we're like 80% of content being consumed, I think currently is 80% of content is video that is being consumed, or it's getting to that, right? So if you can help your client with other avenues of marketing when you're doing Google Ads or SEO, it's a huge benefit. It's a huge benefit to any other marketer you get to work with, right? The search term report is a gold mine. It's a gold mine for you to bring to your clients and say, hey, do you want to show up for this keyword? Or, hey, should we get rid of this? So the search term report, as I said, it is the place where you spend a lot of time. So you identify keywords that are converting, you look at them, you take note, you're like, okay, so I have a new client and they were converting for job, literally job. So do we remember what job is? It is a head term, and the head term, which is one word, keyword, and it's so broad. We'll go down to keywords in all campaigns. You can see there, we're just in search, and let's go to, it looks like, let me see. Let's filter it. Oh, keyword contains jobs. Look at that. I think I paused the word job, but it was literally getting the most conversions. It's brutal. And the client actually said to me, they'll often say, hey, we're getting a lot of irrelevant phone calls. We're getting a lot of phone calls we don't want and questions we don't want. Why is that? And then you look at what's going on and you will see things that, like job, which I paused. It was costing them about $300. They were getting a lot of conversions. This doesn't look like a lot, but it was significant. And so we paused it, even though it was getting them phone calls, right? So that's why you want to be looking at the what keywords are converting, making sure that the client's getting the type of businesses they want to work with, calling them or filling out their form. And if they're not, trying to find out what keywords are causing the problems. And then so manual bidding campaigns, you want to check the status at the keyword level, which we already did, right? Search term report at the ad group level, you're going to negative out keywords. Oh, look at that. So things you do every 72 hours are some of the same things you do weekly, right? Identify keywords that are not performing well, take note of them, pause any that haven't, excuse that, haven't converted. So again, we are in our search term report, right? We're in our search report and we're looking for things that have never converted. So let's grab the conversion row, which is here, right? Let's go to all time, which is all time right here. And you can do other things. And let's see, are there keywords that have never converted? Oh, there is. Jobs for college graduates. So I might pause that. It's cost $92 over a lifetime. The average cost per is $283. But if it's not converting, and this has been running for say a year or two, I might think about, hey, because what happens is your budget, you only have so much budget. And so if you're bidding on some keywords that never convert, you're not making room for things that could convert. And so that's where a lot of people think Google Ads, you build it and then it just runs itself. And it does not. You do need to be in there every week. And now, as things change more dramatically, we are getting more and more clients coming to us who have been running their own Google Ads and who are now overwhelmed and can't do things. There's a good place for Google Ads to work with Google Ads, right? So I would go through all of these. I might bring them up to the client. That might confuse everybody. I might just pause them. Now, I'm not going to do anything today with them because I just inherited this account and I do want to make some significant changes, which you will see the next time you guys end up getting to see this account. It'll look completely different. As you can see from there, naming conventions and things like that. They have 2 ad groups for one campaign, right? They have 1 ad group. This ad group has maybe, let's see. Let's do enabled. So many keywords they're bidding on 1 and it's a broad match and it's something we might want to pause, right? Because this is going to get lots of traffic. It's gotten some conversions. Internship, it is what the client is looking like. People who would call her about internships are probably people she wants to talk to. because they're having trouble finding an internship. As we go through the list, and don't worry, I won't make you sit through much more. You identify keywords that aren't performing. Then you find keywords with a high cost per click compared to the account average, right? Now, how would you do that? You go into the keywords again, you look at the CPC, right? So keywords and average CPC, right? Internship is costing 82 cents an average. Is it worth it to maybe keep bidding on that? I might want to add some additional numbers, but yeah. So you just go down this list, and literally as you go down this list, you can type into Google, you can ask me. I've started adding documentation of, hey, these are the instructions. Here's a link to more reading material. This will get filled out over time. And as you guys get a copy, you can look at these, right? So you then, after you do the keyword stuff, the other things you're going to want to do, definitely the recommendation tab, which I'm going to show you today, and definitely the ad review, right? So the things you're doing in weekly are looking at those things. But one of the number one reasons to go in and do the recommendation report and check that out every time you log into the account, I might do it every 72 hours, especially if my client is watching. And there is a reason, because Google added this wonderful thing called your optimization score. There's nothing to do with your quality score or anything to do with anything other than Google trying to get you to do things. Now, so the client looks at this, and when it goes down, they're like, oh my God, it's gone down. And you're like, it doesn't matter if it goes down. But for a client, it can matter. And so instead of arguing with them or trying to teach them, sometimes we just help them. And so I would read the recommendations. Some are good. Like, this is great. I do want to add an image extension to my ad because I think that's great. This is saying add dynamic image extension, but this is related to adding a different campaign, like doing, anyway, you don't want to do it. But I would just dismiss, and I don't have to give a reason. I just dismiss all, and all of a sudden my little number goes up a bit. And I'm not going to do this right now. And I know I am going to do it over time. So just dismiss. Now you can come back and see the recommendations at any time, and it goes back to 100%. It is something I do because it helps the client feel a little bit confident that I'm in the account. The other thing to note, and I told you at the beginning of class, I'd show you this, but you can see change history in your account, in your ad group. And the change history says everything you've done in the account. You can actually roll things back if you've made a big mistake. We all make mistakes, right? And you can, October 23rd, I went in, I changed a responsive display ad. And I changed out the video because the client didn't like the video. So I went in again at this time, and you can see, I think you can actually see now. So it does every little change. So your client can see, are they working on the account? Do they actually sign in? Do they care about me? Because you will have some Google Ads people that a campaign's running really well. You don't need to touch it, right? So I'd look at these. Now, the last thing we're going to look at today is the ad groups. And so if you ever are interested in doing Google Ads as a profession, talk to me. Talk to me, because we might want to hire you one day. Because I don't know, I love Google Ads. And when you really like what you're doing, you do better at it, I think. And Google Ads can be quite intimidating. So I've logged into my own account, and you can see we have a search campaign. This symbol's for display. And this is the last campaign we created, which was the email / discovery, which they don't let you separate out, right? So on your home screen, you see a bunch of things that you might be like, oh, you might log into the account and see something that you need to update or that you need to do right away, or there might be some thing across the middle of the screen saying, update your credit card. When you log in, sometimes you will get sidetracked, kind of like you do when you go into Facebook. You know, you have a plan and all of a sudden you're looking at your friend's cat's birthday picture. And yeah, so that can happen. So last thing I'm showing you is ads and extensions, right? We want to look at our ads. We, number one, want to see if there's any status issues, which we would go here in status, and we did status. Sorry about that. We did status issues with keywords, right? When we were finding. Now the reason you do this is because sometimes ads have issues, which are limited by policy trademark, right? So I could appeal this or I could edit this. Now, if you're in different industries, housing, sometimes education, different industries, you might hit some policy snags. You also might hit a policy snag if you end up using a term that you're not allowed to. For the Whistler campaign, I used Uber and Lyft in my ad and I violated. So violations aren't bad. It just means you have to fix something. And although you're like, oh, what do I have to fix? Are they telling me anything? You just click into view details and it'll tell you exactly where to go. So trademark ad in text contains Google. Now I have to go find where it says Google, right? Google. And yes, it is just like this. And over time, Google's going to give us more availability to update our ads. Google, come on. And it's probably in my, you'll notice how I filled out everything. But I have not capitalized everything. Google, Google, Google. I know it's right here. If you guys see it, yellow. So, Google. Search. So, I have search results. So this might be updated, so I'm not educating someone, but I'm actually talking to their fears and dreams, dreams, and doubts, right? So there, I updated it. I will save it. And eventually you're going to come in here and you're going to be like, okay, if all my ads are average or poor, I definitely want to get excellent, right? Most of my ads should be excellent. But this is what you do. So you do trademark policy updates. The other thing you can do is you can look inside your ad group, because generally you're going to have maximum 3 ads in an ad group. We only have 1 right now. And as you can see, because it's still good, but it's got trademarks. So what does that mean? It means my ad's not showing up, right? So I'm not getting any impressions even. And this campaign is just for fun. I haven't decked it out or spent much time on it, but maybe I'll show you a better campaign that's actually more, but I can see, okay, this one's had more impressions than this one. If it had been a month or 2, I might be like, okay, I want to duplicate this ad, copy, and then you hit edit again and you hit paste. And then it's going to work in the background for a minute. It's going to ask you where you want to put it. And we were in marketing courses, workshops, marketing course, done. And then if it already exists, create duplicate, right? So it's saying, do you want to create a duplicate? We want to pause it after it's done so we can make some changes. So what we're doing, if you have 3 ads in an ad group, you can always mess with the one that's not working well. You duplicate it, you make some changes if it's going to work better, right? And that's what you do with updating your responsive search ads. Now, I will tell you the best way I have found to write ads is good. The best way I've found to write ads is by going to the reviews and taking the content from there, because those are clients speaking about businesses and they are using their language. So it makes sense. So as you can see, I can't see the 3rd ad. I duplicated now, but I did pause it. Enabled and paused. Oh, wait, responsive. Ad group codes. Okay, so we have our 2 apps. We don't have our copied ad. No ads pasted because they already existed. Oh, let's do that one more time. And then, so we go, oh, sorry. We go to the box, we go copy. Now I thought because I pasted it and I paused it, then we go paste. So it's weird with the copy paste, right? That is not something intuitive. And let's see. Pause after if at our, let's do this one. Have you ever watched a video where you're watching the video and you're following the direction and then you miss a step or they didn't record a step? Now, if that happens and you're watching one of our videos and you have not, and that's happened to you, let me know. But because it's very easy when doing this to not see the little pop-up, ad pasted, view details, right? So we have the ad that's been pasted and now we can make changes. What's the ad? Because it says pending, right? And how I would change this ad to make it better. So I definitely try to, I put the keywords for the ad groups in here. I make sure the headlines are all done. But one of the ways, and don't pin things, one of the ways I would change the ads is I would add, all you do is a curly bracket. No, curly bracket. Curly bracket means a drop-down menu will show up. Of course, not doing it.
Wouldn't it be
Like,
equal curly brace?
it's not. You just put curly brace. And a drop-down menu happens. But if I did this, it won't let me save the ad, right? Because you're not allowed funky characters. I'm not sure why it's not doing it, but as you can see, this is not acceptable. 12 characters out of 30. So what I would do is usually I can do a curly bracket and it'll give me a drop down and I can do a location extension, which I can't show you in here, but I do them all the time. So that is one way you update ads. And that is literally the main things you do. Now you could do go in monthly, and of course you're checking your keywords and search term report. And of course there is a lot more you can do. You're going to add keywords, but this will help you kind of work through, hey, what do I need to fix? What do I need to try to look at? And if I don't know how to do something, low quality score, where would I find low quality score for a keyword? I'd go to the keyword report and then I'd look at the columns. But if you don't know, you could, well, ask me, or you can copy this directly into Google and get your answer on where to go. And over time, I will have instructions in here for you, but I definitely wanted you to have something that you could actually take. And if you're going to do Google Ads, that you could look at and go, okay, do that task. Okay, to do this task, right? Because there's a lot. Look, I typed in identify keywords with poor quality score, and then it would tell you what to do. We know the poor quality score is related to your landing page, your ads, and your keywords. So I would update my ad first. If I'm getting clicks and nobody's converting on the page, I'd then go change my page, which should update my quality score if I've changed all 3. And that is the fun way to do some optimizations in Google Ads. Super fun.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Was that helpful?
Yeah. I can't find the link to the spreadsheet. I think I'm going crazy though.
Oh, no, you're not crazy. I hadn't shared it yet. I was going through it.
I was going back to past lessons.
Oh, no, and
No,
that's very fair.
One. It's not that one.
It is this one. That should do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And when we do update that, because it, like when we update it, you get an updated copy. Just so you know. And that is, so did anybody have any questions? I know y'all aren't doing much with Google Ads yet, so I know that down the road, this is going to come up more. Right.
That was a lot. I actually learned a lot just by listening.
Yeah. It's so hard with Google
that.
Ads to teach it, because this is what I say, you can take that Google Ads test and you will learn nothing doing their testing, because not like go into the search term report. They're like, Sally met Joe. What type of advertising should Sally do? It's a little silly. But if you are going to create a small Google Ads campaign and you do want help or anything like that, you can ask. Next week, we're just going to be talking about the different ways to sell Google Ads. I actually talked to a person yesterday, and they're working with a business who has hired a Google Ads company who charges more after a certain budget is spent. And it seems like at the end of every month that it just slightly goes over. So that was very interesting. So there's like lots of ways. I hadn't heard of that way. I don't think that way makes clients happy. Right. But little sketchy. So there's, I think, 4 ways that people sell Google Ads. We'll get into that next week. And as it's Mini Friday and you don't have any questions, or if you do, we can close it out. Go have an extra lunch. Look, I just gave you back time. Yeah, no problem. Helena, do you have any questions? Just can't see if you're like in shock right now.
No, sorry, I'm just eating while I'm.
You're allowed. Because I know you're doing Google Ads.
Yes. I don't have any questions on that. I do have a question about keywords. I'm just struggling a little bit with keywords. I just don't know why I still can't get like a proper keyword, like a good keyword. I always feel like there's just 0 to 10 searches every time I do like a keyword search. And it's like, I know that the keywords are supposed to be long tail, but it's just really tough to find one that is, oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. What is your parameters you're searching? Is it like just Victoria or Vancouver or BC?
It's Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 searches a month might make me go, ooh. So can you give me an example what the keyword is that you're searching for?
Sure. Because I'm just writing blogs basically now, and it's for, maybe it's because the topic is a little harder, I don't know. But for example, tools to improve plant sustainability and maintenance.
Okay. So what kind of plant?
Like a power plant.
Okay. Got to use the word power plant.
Okay.
Number 1, right? So always think, what industry am I talking about? Remember the example I gave originally when you're searching on Google and you type the word picture into Google. Google doesn't know what you want, right? Is it a picture of water? Is it a picture on a wall? Are we talking about a baseball pitcher, right? So if you get a topic and it's like maintenance improvement for blah, 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 say the industry name, right? So tell me again, it's for power plants and it's tools, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's power plant maintenance tools. Now, you probably went into the keyword planner and checked that, and you probably didn't find much, right? Did you go to Google and type that into Google?
Yeah, and the people also searched, or whatever that segment is called.
Or power plant, for power plant maintenance?
Yeah, or what?
Ooh, look at all these keywords.
Yeah, but why do they not rank well on Keyword Planner? Is that something that I should be looking at most?
Yeah, this is the thing. The keyword planner is not the best thing all the time. Like, honestly, you're going to go between the keyword planner. I would use the free version of SEMrush if you can. And people also ask, I would also go to the search engine results pages are probably where you're going to find your sweet spot, right? You're not going to want, unless you're creating a power plant PDF, But you got to think, okay, who's going to read this blog post? It's going to be people that are in the maintenance department that work for power plants, right? So they're already working for the companies and they're just trying to figure out how to do their job better. So power plant maintenance guide. Let's see if we get anything. Guide.
Is that not
Right.
too like general though? Does it not need to be more specific, you think?
What are you talking about? What does the article talk about?
Basically, because I'm reading about this one,
Tool?
like how do I explain? Let me just pull it up because I feel like I'm just gonna word vomit.
Yeah.
But
Well,
basically,
look at this. 22,800. I don't know where the parameters of what Google's.
Yeah. actually, I think I just get really stuck because I know that you have to add the keyword into the title, right? Like the URL, like it has to be basically everywhere. And I think that's what I struggle with because I make them so specific.
Yeah,
Well-
and fair. I get that. Oh, go on, Phelan.
I was gonna say, there's one thing that will make it a bit easier for you to think about is that while you're being specific and it's also gonna have sections of it that are gonna get triggered in a search. So maybe it might be power plant maintenance, sustainability. That might be that's a very specific 3 words that your blog post might trigger in it. So you're actually capturing a bunch of different aspects of it. You're in that one, in the keyword that you're going for. So it's really what you're trying to do is have a keyword that covers a bunch of different, that has the potential to be interpreted different ways as well. So it's going to be, so like tools for power plant sustainability is within the keyword that you told us there. So that would also technically be triggered by it because Google's trying to figure out this is pretty close, right? Because it's very rare that it's going to be super exact, super perfect. It's mostly going to be, does it have enough wiggle room that it could be, Google can interpret this in a couple different ways as well.
Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just gonna say, so like, as long as, how do I put it? So it doesn't have to be exact. So my keywords don't have to be exactly in my title, right? Or do they have to be like pretty like together? in
I
my
want you to
title?
do me a favor. I want you to write the article. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want you to focus on the keyword at all. I want you to write the article. If you look, and the reason, and I'll tell you the reason why, because I want you to do test for yourself, which is awesome. So I found this, right? That looked good. It's 2020-05. So it's super old, right? I don't know. Tool tackles used, like when you're doing your research, are you finding other articles that are speaking about what you're speaking about?
What do you mean? Sorry.
If I'm writing an article on best 5 foods to eat for superpower strength, I'm going to do some research, right? I'm going to have other articles I've looked at to see what they're saying.
And
yeah,
what
I
they're
do that,
missing.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
probably
okay.
want to reference them.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Phelan?
Oh, you also want to see what they're missing, right? Because that's another
Yeah.
aspect is that you're trying to find, you might have yours where it covers a certain aspect that theirs didn't, that you notice, hey, they touched on this, but they didn't expand on it. So, hey, maybe that's my in to make this a differentiator. And then you can use that as your in. And so you're going to have to look at the pips, right? That you're ultimately going to have to be doing some manual searches into a SERP. And because they say what the volume of searches is, you need to also see what they would be that's already showing up, because those might not even be trying to rank for those keywords. So you're also going to have that aspect in it as well. So you definitely, it's going to be some manual searches, but I definitely agree with Pip that I think you should I think you've got the right idea. I just think you need to go act on
Well,
that part
tweak.
and write it up.
Yeah, like a couple things. Realize how many power plants are there in the USA and Canada, right?
Mhm.
And how many people at those power plants are in maintenance? Because so when we think about that and who we're talking to, it is a smaller audience for sure.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get bogged down by that. But write the article, make sure you add the industry that you're in, write the
Okay.
article, get it published. I don't want you to worry about a keyword, and whoever your boss is, tell them, you know what, I want to test this. I'm going to write a bit of a longer blog post. And then let's look and see what keywords it starts to rank for in Google Search Console.
That's my problem because I always start with the keywords first.
This is why, and this is what SEO teach you, is it is much easier when you find a keyword,
Yeah.
but it takes a long time and it's very frustrating. The other
Mhm.
time is, so I wrote a blog post about how to go incognito in your browser and how to clear your browser history. It's one of the first things we do in our classes. However, what are people searching for to find that as their answer? They don't know. They don't know how to do something. So I'm trying to teach them how to do something and they don't even know it's a problem. And so how am I ever going to find a keyword? And the keyword I picked, honestly, it gets millions of searches, billions of searches. It's probably why my page rank, like, overall is like 60. And it's because I'm showing up for all these search terms that are like how to find your keyword ranking. That being said, you just do your best. But the greatest part is once you get that stuff published, it will start to generate keywords. And then you can update the blog post. So not every time, you're not going to find a keyword every time. Honestly, I book out per page 2 hours to do my keyword research per page. Now, if I'm doing a whole website, it's a little different because then you're in this zone, right? But 2 hours, yeah. And if you're going to do a really good job and you're not always going to find the right one. For your type of industry, use the search engine results pages, because I found some power tools for shutdown and maintenance. Ooh, look at that. That's a cool article. I don't want to read it. Power tools, right? This is telling you what are power plant tools. This is great stuff. I would be using this stuff for my article because I know it's about power plant. I know it's about maintenance. I know it's about tools. All these things, like these guys might be doing SEO. Look at that. Look, that they've got things capitalized. They didn't truncate it. They're saying call. Yeah, they have a call to action. And it looks like they're trying to rank for maintenance. And tools, maintenance tools. Do we have power plant? No. So I would definitely go here. And you know what? What is that? 8 billion? Is that billion? Million? Million searches. That's pretty good. And look at all these. You got orientation. You got coal power. You could even use a specific power plant. Hydrogen water plant. So I just have a bit more fun. Don't get stressed because your keyword is not the end of the world. What is important is that you get something amazing published. And it sounds like you're a great writer.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that because I feel like I'm really struggling with, finding the keyword. It like gives me almost anxiety because it's like, okay, I'm writing this really good article, but it's like, why isn't my keyword matching? And it just gives me stress because it's like I have to put it in the meta description and like the title. It's just, so I think.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
So just know, okay, what you're going to do is just pick any old random keyword. Just make sure it has the industry name in it. Know who you're talking to, like who are the people you're talking to. If the article's about tools, mention tools. If the article's about maintenance, mention maintenance. If it's about power plants, mention, like, honestly, power plant maintenance tools seems pretty good. If you're writing about maintenance tools, I would go look that up and go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And if you can't find a keyword, you can at least find questions people are asking that you could answer. And think about that person who is that person who's reading this? Somebody who got a job and they're trying to do better. So want to be the best power plant maintenance person ever? Here are the tools for you. It's hard, I know, but give her and show us the article.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. And Good question. Any other questions, SEO wise?
So how would you, I guess, what would be the balance between looking for a keyword before you write a post and just writing a post?
When you get frustrated, stop.
Okay.
Honestly, so you want to look in the Google Keyword Planner, you want to look on the search engine results pages, you check out SEMrush. We can look at SEMrush in the next couple of weeks and just show you guys like how to do that using the free version. I give up after 2 years. 2 years. 2
years.
hours. 2 hours is my maximum that I'm done for today. That's it. That's all you get. And this is not, you are never going to be perfect at this. Keywords are only a small portion of SEO, and it's changing, right? And like context matters now. So if you write a long enough article about something that's in depth, guaranteed you are going to show up for searches. So if you actually focus on writing great content, I know that sounds really weird, but if you focus on the writing of something that's going to help somebody and trying to help them and you're answering questions, your keyword will come out of that. If you spend 2 hours on it, pick a keyword or don't, move on, get that thing published, and then go back and see what it's ranking for. That is the biggest recommendation. Don't get stuck on the keywords. People have a really hard time with how focused and getting the perfect keyword. I've gone down a rabbit hole like so many times, like, because you go on the search engine results page, you're like, oh, that's neat. Oh, what's that? Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. That's a good keyword. What does that get? But oftentimes you end up with like Power Tools guide PDF, and you're like, I don't want to put the word PDF in my keyword. Yeah, you got to find your own balance on what you're good with. But a good SEO knows about keywords and they know about search intent. And you're trying to talk to the people who are going to need the article. Think about who you're writing it for. That's what I would do. If I can't find a keyword, I would ask myself, who am I writing for and what industry is this in? Is it Bob and Joe, and are they buying a new house? Where are they in the process? If they're searching this online, where are they in the process? Are they in the process of figuring out how to buy a house? Or are they actually at the end of their journey and they're signing paperwork and they're rushing and figuring out like, what does this clause mean? So if I'm a maintenance dude at a power plant, am I a new guy or am I figuring? And you're not going to know for sure, but you're going to have an idea in your head of who am I helping? Why does this matter? Yeah, great questions. They're hard, guys. They're hard. We will all do keyword research together soon. Right?
Yeah, and there's no hard and fast rules, I think, is the big thing to keep in mind. And taking a break and don't letting yourself go insane, I think is going to be a really good way to do it, because you will be able to drive yourself insane. The other thing, one other strategy that you could do is when we talked about at the start of the on page that all the pages are going to be connected and you're mapping out how it is like a big like spider web basically. You can also see, hey, I'm missing something about, I don't know, top pizza places in Gig Harbor. That's one that's missing in your overall. Hey, there's one aspect of restaurants that are in the restaurant culture in town here. Okay, I could fill that in because we did the Italian, we did Thai and sushi, and we don't have pizza. That's another option for you to look at it as we've got all these pages, but is there something that's missing between all these pages and how they can all interact?
Yes. Have you guys ever played the game What Is, Who Is, Why Is on Google? No? It's a very silly
No, what
game.
is that?
So if you're really frustrated, and you've been doing a ton of keyword research, type in, what is the? Why do you do this? Who is the? Because you're going to see what people are searching. Watcher. Seems like Watcher is a thing, right? Who is the mayor of Winnipeg? it will make you laugh. It will just brighten you up. Why is the sky blue? Why is the ocean salty? These are like, it's a relief. You're just like, oh my God, okay. And it honestly, not only can you learn, I have learned about famous people I had no idea about, but I will take the moment to do, like, when I'm frustrated with keyword research or anything like that. I'm like, fine, okay, what's going on? What are people searching? Why is the sun red? Because there are a lot of fires, right? Why is there blood in my poop? Oh God. So that's what I do. The who is the why is the what is the, which makes my life a little better, especially when I'm frustrated. And sometimes you'll come across really fun songs and fun things, and you'll learn something, and you'll get rid of all that stress of keyword research. Great tip. Not geeky at all. All right. Yeah. So next week we will meet on Monday. Come with your keyword research. We'll look at it. Woo-woo. Okay. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.